better crowd tonight, obviously being the second night and the finale. You kind of expect that, but wanted to just talk about the format really quick. No qualifying tonight. They are getting hot laps at the start of their first heat. There's 2 rounds of heats. Both heats are an invert of 8, so if you're high up on points, you're just going to be buried in the heats all night. Backed by popular demand is this useless moisture reader thingy that I bought. Already walking out here on the track, you can see the track is a lot harder, and it looks like racing has just happened on it just recently, which obviously it has. So, which is a good thing because the track's been so fast, it hasn't had enough laps to wear out the track and dry out enough. So it's a little bit windier today, a little bit hotter, I would say. We've got midgets tonight, they might wear out the track a little bit more. But yeah, hopefully being a 2-night show, the track will go away a bit. We're up a bit higher. Cars did not run this high last night. You can feel, I'm pushing pretty hard, but that's still pretty soft. Not a hard layer. Last night it seemed like there was a hard layer. Let's try this thing out. Let's set it to moist. It's just instantly moist. Story of my life. We'll come down to kind of where the cars were constantly running. On top right here, I think they've actually tried to dry it out a bit, but you can feel as the further we go down, it's still pretty wet underneath. And obviously right down the bottom of the track, which is the lowest that the cars will be able to run, now it's really wet on the surface. Yeah, it's just really soft right on top. Another thing we should point out while we're here, just before we finish up, is that they've got tyres out on the infield now, marking the infield of the track, because you don't want cars to pass on the infield. They've got a concrete strip that's maybe 200, 300 mil wide on the edge of the track, but it is really hard to see. So these tyres are just on the inside of that, and hopefully that keeps guys in line and we see some good racing. John Kelly, you're known for being able to prepare a racetrack pretty well, but obviously the track here at Eastern Creek's been pretty fast a couple of nights that we've had so far. How have you found it to prepare?
It's been difficult actually because of the rain that we've had here for the last, it's been forever I guess here in New South Wales, but every time we get here it seems to rain. But I mean, we're using a tank and a half of water, which we should be using 4 tanks a day. That's how much moisture's in the racetrack.
When I go out on the racetrack, I went out there late last night, and when I pushed the screwdriver in the ground, it felt quite hard to start with, and then it got softer underneath. Do you ever have that where it's creating like a hard layer on top? And
it's got a few soft spots, that's the problem, on entry into 3, which it's had since the practice night back in December.
Yep.
And I've been trying to push dirt in there, but I mean, it's just a difficult task because of the moisture in the racetrack. Up in the wall in turn 3 and 4, right on the fence. I mean, it's so wet and slippery and slimy up there, it's just ridiculous.
After last night's races, you went straight out there on the grader. How long did it take you to prepare the racetrack for tonight?
Probably spent about an hour and a half out there getting the track rolled in. We actually got it in, then it started raining, so it actually didn't have to put any water down, but it wasn't major rain last night, it wasn't too bad, so it dried out again today and then rolled it down in turn 3. There's a rut basically in the middle of the racetrack, about a third of the way up going into 3, so you can get down under it or around it. That's what's making it interesting.
Is there anything in particular that you've been aiming for tonight, or what do you expect the track to turn out like tonight?
In a perfect world it'll be slick and we'll get within a couple of metres of the fence and we'll see plenty of slide jobs, but it's just way too fast at the moment, and this time of the year is going to be difficult too. We didn't have the luxury of having a summer where we could dry the racetrack. It's no different to practice early in the year when everybody gets out there and runs in the same groove. So it is what it is. But this time of the year is always difficult because you've got so much moisture in the air.
Just let me tighten this up, we can pull it out a bit.
Sprint cars, heat 1 to the Dover, please. Heat 2, get ready.
Gearing up for the first heat. As you can see, it's gotten a lot darker since we last spoke, but you can see here the track is starting to slicken off a lot. It's a lot wider. Should be good racing. one heat race so far, and we can see already that the track is way better. It's slicker, it's wider, the car's moving around, they're sliding around, there's a little bit of dust. I know not every fan likes that, but we got a camera on Alex Orr's car, so I gotta go quickly turn it on. Okay, so we've just finished the 2 rounds of heat, pretty exciting heat racing, and you'll see that in the video, but it did drizzle at one stage with a few heat races to go, and it looked like we weren't sure if we're going to finish off the night, but the rain seems to have gone away. Yeah, it's been really interesting to see drivers move around, and really this is the first time we've ever seen at this speedway racing like this, because we haven't had the track prepared like this, so it is so good to see it open up. I think it could be a little bit better, but awesome racing so far, and they've cancelled the shootout. We've got a B main about to go out, but for the meantime, let's go speak to some of the drivers that are in the A. How have your heats gone?
Not bad. We come out 8 in both heats. We come in tonight second on points. Gone from 8th to 3rd in both heats, so that's good points, but on the same end, I don't think we're at Veely spec yet, so yeah. I think we're still hunting for a little bit of car speed.
What in particular do you think you need to achieve with the car?
I think I just don't feel like we're settled enough through the bumps.
Yeah. You don't feel comfortable?
Yeah, not comfortable. We just haven't found that where it's just sitting down and rotating good. We're not bad, but you know, if we want to go play with Veely, I think we need to find a little bit more, so we're hunting for that.
Is there something in particular that you would normally do that's not working, or?
$1 question, isn't it, really? Like, you know, at the time, mate, you've done it, it's an educated guess. Everything's an educated guess, so look, I'm just trying to report back what I'm feeling, and you know, with the sprint car, there's always 3 or 4 different ways you can achieve the car to do something. We just got to pick the right one.
What about in traffic? Do you feel like you can move around at all?
I've been good at traffic earlier. I just think actually when we get in clean air, we don't have the actual outright car speed that really does. I feel like we're hustling good enough. We're just not just looking for a little bit of outright speed. And if we get the car settled, I think we can get it.
Well, maybe if you can avoid some yellows in the feature, you can have a run for him.
Yeah. Look, I think if we can get on the front row with him, I think it'd be important to get the jump and take the clean air off him.
Yeah, kind of
make him work a bit harder for it. I think in clean air, he's probably got the fastest car at the moment. We has over the whole weekend.
Yeah.
I think step one would be trying to get that start and take him out of clean air and make him work a bit harder for it.
How have your heat races gone?
Pretty average tonight. It's a total different track, and we were really good yesterday. Moved forward 3 or 4 spots in both heat races from the back, and 9th in points yesterday, and then we're back to start the A-main 15. So just struggling, but we'll at least throw something at it now. We're pretty deep, so.
Obviously you're going to enjoy working with Robbie, but have you guys worked together and learn off each other, or? Yeah,
a little bit. Yesterday a lot. Today we're just sort of going down different roads, and we're probably lost our way a little bit in the slick, but yeah, it's all right. We'll sort of tune it up. I think it's probably a bit of me just running the top and stuff, so yeah, we'll see how we track to the main.
Can't complain that I don't come and talk to you.
I'm just glad that you put a camera on my car and it didn't shit itself. So that's the main positive from that.
We've been asking people drivers how their heats are going. How have your 2 heats been?
First heat I dropped a spot, so not the best. Started on the bottom and it's a bit slick off the bottom. And then second heat I started from 3rd and ran 2nd, so it was pretty good.
Where should you start out of? Are you in the B, A?
In the feature race, yeah. I'm not sure where I'm starting, but I'm probably towards the back, like 17th, 18th, 19th, something like that.
How have your heats been?
Yeah, not too bad. Started out 7, both the heats tonight, so was able to get up to 3rd, so gained a few points there. So I think we're starting out 8 for the feature, so just hopefully we can run, the rain stays away, and maybe get a run, hopefully.
You can move forward in racing and still not feel that great. How do you actually feel out there?
Yeah, no, I felt pretty good. A bit heavier 3 or 4, so I was a bit tired. Yeah. Just sort of had to put the throttle down a bit more to sort of free myself up. But Steve, Dad and Alex have been pretty on the ball lately with the car, so it's been real helpful.
Grant Anderson, how's your couple of nights been so far?
Yeah, so far pretty good. I mean, last night, prelim night, started 9th in the main, finished 5th, so we're pretty solid. Yep. Lot different track tonight, lot racier, which is good. And I think we're sitting 5th on points going into this main event, so we're thereabouts. Yeah, I'm pretty comfortable in the car. The track's, like I said, racier, and hopefully we can pull some sliders and get to the front.
Watching from the infield, it seemed like it kind of caught out a few drivers and teams that they looked a bit free. Did you guys kind of throw a few things at it?
Yeah, like I like this sort of stuff, so it's always a guessing game on dirt track, of course. Yeah. Yeah, we seem to guess it pretty good, but yeah, there's still guys in front of us, so we'll just have another guess and see how we go.
Rock, how have your heats been so far tonight?
Yeah, not too bad. We had a really good first heat. Sort of struggled a bit in that last heat. I even passed a couple of cars, so we're out of 5 for the feature. Hopefully this rain stays away, and it's going to be long 35 laps to, you know, starting to widen out. We've got a pretty good track, sort of a lot different to last night, which will be very interesting and a lot more technical tonight. So looking forward to it.
Bill seems like the guy to beat. Where do you feel like you need to improve to be up there?
Yeah, no, he is obviously the guy to beat. So Fari will give him a good run. We're just sort of going to try and wait till lap traffic. We probably haven't got the speed as what sort of Veal has to run with him, but you know, maybe a few lap cars may sort of play their part, and we might be able to take advantage of a lap car situation.
What changes have you made?
Not a lot. We sort of just put some new tyres on it, and give her a little tune up and be ready to go.
Be careful with those tyres.
Yeah, there's not too many around, so we're obviously making sure we've got enough for next week at Brisbane, but no, we want to win the New South Wales title, so that's our aim at the moment.
Jordan Brazier, how's your night been so far with the 2 heats?
Yeah, we had 2 heat wins, so that's definitely good. We pushed it up to the front out of the pack, starting out at 12 in the A, so see if we can do anything from there.
Where do you feel like you're lacking?
I actually feel like we've been pretty fast the whole night, to be honest. I don't think we're lacking anything. You know, it's just it's going to be hard to catch Veely, you know. He's flying at the moment and he's starting at the front, so we've got a little bit to catch up on, but hopefully, you never know.
Hey bro.
Oh,
having a bit of a party?
Yeah. The disco going.
How have your heats been?
Not too bad. Obviously, bet in the car pretty bad last night. So.
Is this the same car?
Yeah. We got a spare there that we were thinking about building, but we're going to Archfield next week, and that's a bit of a battlefield. So then we're going to Darwin, and that's another one.
Yeah.
It's a bit wild on the gear, so there's no point building a new car at the end of the season. Rather start fresh with a new car next year.
Yeah. I got pretty good footage of your wreck last night from on board facing backwards, but like, what happened there?
Well, I actually think just going through the car, like I didn't do any damage to the right side of the car. So, and pulled the right rear shock off, and I think it actually blew a piston in the right rear shock, so it's just rolled over and just bit me, and yeah, it's a passenger.
And where do you feel like you need to improve on tonight? Where are you at it?
14, so obviously DNF last night hurt us a bit, but yeah, look, it's 35 laps, just got to take my time and yeah, don't get too eager like last night kind of thing, I guess.
How many tear-offs you putting on?
I don't think the track's near as bad as last night, but yeah, obviously in that, I don't know if you've seen a photo of my helmet last night.
No.
Oh,
bad?
Pretty bad, yeah. I ran out of tear-offs in the second heat and I couldn't see. And I couldn't even open my visor because it actually caked the whole front of this and I couldn't open it.
I think Brock Hallett said he pulled 3 before the green.
Yeah, I think I was pulling about 2 a lap. I only put 12 on, so last night was brutal, but yeah, tonight's actually slickened off, so it's interesting. It's I think we're all learning new track, and yeah, we're trying some different stuff with shocks, so yeah, it's just going to take a bit, and obviously getting to see both sides of the track now with it's slick as it is now and heavy as it was last night. It's 2 complete different tracks. And yeah, she's definitely doesn't feel like a Parramatta shape out there. It's I don't know. It's it feels like a strange shape of a track. They're 2 totally different corners.
Oh, like each end's completely different?
It just feels completely different, even from when it was heavy to slick. So yeah, I think just need to do more racing here, and I'm sure John will get the track primo.
How have your heats gone, man?
Yeah, okay. Sort of took me a little while to get used to the slick tracks at the high speed. I haven't done that for a few years. Both heat races took me a few laps to get going and really get my speed up where the others were straight onto it. Other than that, the car's been pretty good.
You got going pretty good last night, but obviously tonight's a little bit different. Where do you feel like you need to improve to take the win?
Probably just run a little bit harder, I reckon, tonight.
Have a go?
Yeah. Last time was sort of a bit easy. You just sort of hit your marks and away you went around every turn. But tonight you can sort of change your line a fair bit. You can make things work and use your wing speed to get to places on the track where you probably thought you couldn't.
I was just talking to Matt Dumsney and he was saying that both ends of the track are kind of like 2 completely different corners. Is that how you feel?
Yeah, definitely. This one's nice and smooth, 1 and 2, and reasonably slick and a little bit dusty on the outside almost. And the other side's real rough and still got a little bit of moisture in it up the top. Holds you pretty good.
Alright, we've spoken to the drivers, we've heard what they said. I think it was really cool to hear from Robbie Farr and him say that he's struggling to find a way, I guess, to feel comfortable on the bumps. Just watch out, there's another car coming out right now. But yeah, I just love how this track's changing up. This is just the 3rd sprint car event or 3rd sprint car night, Well, it's so good to see that it's starting to get black in the middle there. It's still, you can see it's still lightly brown at the bottom, so you can see it's still going to be tacky. And you can also see that it's obviously widening up. So you got two distinct racing lines. It's going slick in the middle. It's everything that we've been talking about in this video and the previous video. So it should be a good feature. Veal is definitely the one to beat. Hesker and Farr will be there. Troy Little's been fast. He was fast last week down south. 35 laps, New South Wales title. Should be fun. Let's go.
So didn't really have the car to run around the top. We're a bit free, so we sort of just tucked the wing back and ran around the bottom, and you know, obviously passed a few and sort of showed the, you know, the rubber was on the bottom. So good result, good for the team, and bring on next weekend.
Disappointed when Jamie found the bottom?
Yeah, so obviously, you know, Marcus sort of seen me flirting around with it, and then you know, Jamie sent in the lap cars, so it was a bloody good race, and pretty happy to run third. Yeah,
got good to be going into next week's Australian title.
Yeah, that's the thing. So everything's running good, the team's working well, and really looking forward to getting back to Brisbane.
Nice job in the feature, man.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Almost had it, not quite. Just stuck my nose under there when I probably shouldn't have. Just should have bit me time and took a big chomp. But no, it's all good. Car was good all night. Bit of an improvement on last night, but yeah, it's definitely got this new car rolling around pretty good. So it's pretty keen for this shot title next weekend.
What did you think about the top with how many ruts and holes and stuff there were? Was that pretty tricky?
Yeah, it is pretty tricky. Like, we run our stuff pretty soft, so I tend to absorb them pretty hard. But I'm sure John will get it figured out. He got the bottom side of it packed down a lot better like tonight, so that's why he's such a slick track. Yeah, they're slowly getting there, I'm sure. It's only third race, so it'll be a good track and a good time.
You feel confident going into next week?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, it's always good to come off on a strong finish for the Australian title. I'm sure Jamie's going to be the man to beat, so good to be mixing it up with him before next weekend, and give it our best shot next weekend for sure.
You looked decent in the heats, but in the feature there, it looked like through 3 and 4 in particular, looked pretty rough. But you knew to move to the bottom. Yeah,
it was sort of a little bit all over the joint, the track. It was slick to rough, a bit heavy and that, but it's just at the end they just got a little bit too slick beside the ruts and that, and made it harder. And a little bit of rubber came down the bottom, and as I said, it was getting harder and harder to catch lap cars, and they were doing a good job down there. So just got down there and tried to make the most of it. And I suppose it pulled down at the right time. It's sort of hard to tell. I don't know when Marcus pulled down, but
What's the indication that you need to move down there when, like, you're leading a race?
Cars.
You haven't, yeah.
It was lap cars the only thing, and it was getting harder and harder up top to get it 100% every lap. I was hitting the ruts, and then the exit out of 2 wasn't as great.
Yeah.
I could at the start of the race I could get it really good, but then I just roll up too much in 1. And then, as I said, you can sort of tell by the dirt on the bottom. There was a bit of moisture still down this end, and it was just getting darker and darker on the track. So you could see that, knowing that the cars were hitting it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, mainly the lap cars.
You knew straight away when you went down there, you could feel that it was quicker than where you were?
It wasn't hard rubber.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, you know, our tyres are completely bald, and it wasn't,
in the end,
vibrating and carrying on. But it was enough though. The middle was just that, when everyone was on the bottom, just that dusty stuff going through the middle, and there was not a whole lot. I went and tried to go around a couple, bit of wing speed over, and it was just loose dust pretty much.
Your car feel comfortable going into next week?
Yeah, it's a totally different ball game. We go from one track, a lot of wing speed, to Archerfield and elbows up.
All right, we're back out on the track to wrap up the final night of the New South Wales Sprint Car title, and tonight was the perfect example of exactly why I love sprint car racing. It was exactly what we wanted. We were hoping the track would slicken off a bit, and that's exactly what it did. If you look at the very bottom of the track, you can see that it's still got a little bit of moisture, but it's such a narrow part, such a narrow line of racing that you're not going to come all the way down here. You're not going to race down here constantly. So as we come up to where the cars were, or spent most of their time in the feature, you'll see it's actually quite dark. Notice how it's getting darker and darker the further we come up the track till we get to about here. And this is what happened. If you have a look at some of the tires, they were actually really worn, and what happens is what we call laying rubber. Look at these really black parts of the track. As I try and push the screwdriver down, it is so hard. It's packed down quite tight, and then it's got rubber actually laying on top of it, and you see the tires, they're just pretty much down to the canvas. I know Jamie Veal, the winner's tire, was right down to the canvas. And then as we come further up the track, you can see it's not as bad, but we've got some massive ruts, and these are all around the racetrack. We're coming out of turn 2 right here. Well, look at this massive rut over here. Cars are going to run through that, and they're everywhere. I'm sure this wouldn't be the biggest rut on the track. Like, that's a good, what, 70 or 80 mil tall. So it's at least 3 inches tall. Cars are going to run through this, and that unsettles the car so much that you can't run through that the entire race. And when cars are constantly running down the bottom here, that starts to do what we said, lay rubber, and that's the fastest way around the racetrack. And it was so good to see Jamie Veal leading the race. You got to remember, in sprint car racing, we don't have mirrors, we don't have telemetry, we don't have communication with your crews or anything like that. So he's got to use his head and think, okay, I'm struggling up the top here, I'm on or off the gas, the car's getting unsettled, I can't stay up here. The guys behind me might be on the bottom, so what does he do? A couple laps before they get to him, when they're running the bottom, he jumps to the bottom himself. So incredibly smart by Jamie Veal. That's why he's the A1, and that's why he's won 4 races in the last 9 days. So yeah, just incredible racing, and that's exactly why I love sprint car racing. It's just the most pure, most awesome, exciting, raw form of motorsport. And yeah, right here in Sydney, we got this awesome racetrack. We finally got a reaction out of the racetrack, but looking forward to you guys watching this video. And next week we head to Archerfield Speedway in Brisbane for the Australian Sprint Car title.